Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to episode number 995 of NoDQ video right here on NoDQ.com. Thank you guys for checking out today's video. Please keep spreading the word. We are almost at 1,000. We are very close now, just over a week away. I got your questions and I made a mistake. So I miscalculated. I thought I had more time than I actually did to get to 1,000 episodes in my normal pace, which is about 3 to 4 videos a week. Basically, I have to be posting a new video almost every day until August 16th to get to 1,000 videos. My bad, but it's good for you guys. You get more content, and I have no shortage of questions, which is also a positive. You can keep sending in your questions to @AaronRift on Twitter. Now, let's get started today with your questions. First one today comes from Matt Barr. How can the Revival be the best if they can't stay healthy? A few people have asked me about the Revival. We have this situation where Scott Dawson is injured and might need surgery for his bicep, and this is coming off Dash Wilder recently coming back after injuring his jaw. This is a really unfortunate situation because the Revival came into the main roster, they were hot, then you had one injury, they came back, it felt like they were starting to regain momentum, and then there's another injury. So this is definitely another setback for the two of them. It's hard for them to really establish themselves. They've been calling themselves top guys, and your casual fans are wondering, well, what's the deal here? These guys are not really doing anything, and they're calling themselves top guys. That, I think, is really unfortunate because based on what we've seen in NXT, these guys, if they're given the opportunity, they could be top guys. They could be the top tag team in WWE. They're that good. I just think that this is a very unfortunate setback. They've had two now in the span of a year, and I think that that has really stalled their momentum. And my fear is Vince McMahon or somebody else in a high position of power is going to say, hey, these guys are too injury prone, they're not worth investing in, and WWE is going to give up on them, which I really hope is not the case. I hope that they will be given another opportunity and there will be no more further injuries, but one can only hope. This one comes from Alex Boney. Is Bayley's injury a blessing in disguise? They can start over with her character since they damaged her so badly. In a way, I like this, and I found it really interesting on Raw. Bayley came out, talked about her injury, and this was probably the most she's ever been booed. I mean, it was really loud to the point where Bayley actually acknowledged it, and she appeared to be frustrated by it, which makes you think maybe there's something to this, and maybe this is the opportunity to turn her heel. Although I'm not sure WWE wants to do that because Corey Graves was doing the usual line that is given to the announcers. He said that Toronto is Bizarro World, and that's what Vince always has the announcers say when the fans are going against what they're supposed to be doing. So if the fans are booing the good guy, it's Bizarro Land. You know, they cheer for the bad guys, they boo the good guys, and that's how Vince feels that these fans are just, they're an exception to the general rule, and it's not like it's part of WWE's plan to turn Bayley heel. I don't think it is, because if WWE was going with this idea of Bayley turning heel, Corey Graves would have never said that. So I think WWE should turn her heel, though. I mean, this seems like a great opportunity to take advantage of it and just do something completely different with her character. It's taking a chance. I've said this before. There's a possibility it could backfire and it could potentially ruin Bayley because she would not be able to go back to the character she once was. But I honestly think it might be a risk worth taking at this point. So we'll see. We'll see if WWE decides to do that. But either way, just giving her some time off and maybe having her come back and give her a little bit more of an edge. If she's going to stay babyface, you know, as I mentioned in one of the previous videos, maybe she could be paired up with the Hardys, do a broken gimmick with them, or a Woken, whatever. Make her the new Lita. They could do something like that. So yeah, this at the very least should be an opportunity to repackage her and maybe do something different with her and give her a little bit of time off and bring her back stronger than ever. This one comes from Junior the Redneck. What's your take on Hulu using CM Punk's image to promote WWE SmackDown Live? Second time asker. That was really bizarre. I'm not sure what the deal was with that. I mean, clearly Punk is not coming back anytime soon. He's still under contract to UFC, even if he wanted to come back. According to a Hulu rep, they were given the promotional material, and that's what they ran with. It might have just been a simple mistake. Somebody in WWE's graphics department, the left brain doesn't know what the right brain is doing. Somebody just sent that by mistake, not realizing it's a guy who no longer works for the company. And I think that's all that was. I think people were reading too much into it, and Hulu never gave a definite reason as to why, but that's what I suspected. It was just a simple mistake. Somebody from WWE not realizing Punk is not with the company, somebody who's not really paying attention, just sent that photo to Hulu, and that's what Hulu ran with for their advertisement. This one comes from Max B. What about a Japanese stable with a manager in a couple of years? Nakamura, Atami, Tozawa, Asuka, and maybe Ibushi. That's interesting. I think I have mixed feelings about it, doing an all-Japanese stable, because it almost feels like you're stereotyping the guys. Hey, they're all Japanese. Let's just throw all the Japanese guys into a faction. You know, some people felt that way about New Day. They're throwing all the black guys into one stable. I'm not sure if I'm a big fan of that idea. I think it might hurt them more than help them. It seems like they're all doing well on their own. I mean, some of them are. Tozawa's got a Cruiserweight title match, so he's doing fairly well. Atami seems to be doing better after going in the heel direction. It's just a matter of finding the right storylines for these guys, but I'm not sure if this one is the best idea or not. What do you guys think? Leave a comment on NoDQ.com on the page for NoDQ video number 995. Let me know what you think. Do you believe it's a good idea, or do you have another idea for these guys, something else they could possibly do? Leave a comment, let me know. This one comes from Chris. Hey Aaron, when will we see Shelton Benjamin back, and what should we expect? I'm hoping he'll be back soon. I mean, we've heard these reports that he is going to come back and WWE wants him. It's just a matter of finding the right spot for him and the best way to utilize him. But as I said in a recent video, and several of you have suggested this idea, why not pair Shelton Benjamin with Chad Gable? Make them a tag team. SmackDown could benefit from some strong tag teams. Raw could too, for that matter. You know, you have the veteran with the young up-and-comer, and you pair them together. I think they would have a good dynamic working together, and they could be maybe the new World's Greatest Tag Team, or the new American Alpha, or maybe give them a new tag team name. But I like the idea of pairing Shelton Benjamin with Chad Gable. The older star takes the younger star under his wing type deal, and you know, let them become a great tag team in WWE. I think that would be a great way to utilize both. And I think Chad Gable could benefit working with the veteran too. So I think it would be a win-win situation, and it would make Shelton Benjamin relevant in WWE. This one comes from Travis. With 12 matches already on SummerSlam, Big 4 shows getting longer, could we see WWE doing 2-day events, Saturday for SmackDown, Sunday for Raw? And this is a first-time asker. I don't think WWE will do that, and with NXT, there's not really much room to do that. They would not be able to really do that for WrestleMania, because you have Friday being the Hall of Fame, Saturday being NXT, and then Sunday being WrestleMania, Monday being Raw, Tuesday being SmackDown. They could bump the Hall of Fame to Thursday, but I think that's stretching it. I mean, I think the shows are already long enough as it is. I just think WWE should stop doing longer shows. And a 2-day show, not really a fan of it. I don't see the point. I mean, part of the thing that makes SummerSlam and WrestleMania and the Big 4 special is it's one show with both brands. So doing a single brand show for WrestleMania one night and then the other brand the second night, it defeats the whole purpose, in my opinion. The idea is that you're combining both brands for a super show, and this is one of the big shows because you get to see both brands on the same night. So not really a fan of that concept of doing a 2-day show. And yeah, you could do a 2-day show with both brands on each show, but again, I think WWE would then make the shows even longer somehow. They do like a 5-hour show the first night and another 5-hour show the second night, so we would get like 10 hours. I mean, I feel like Jackie Chan here, just losing my mind at the thought of that. Not a fan. This one comes from Desperado. Do you think WWE would pull a Cena heel turn before his retirement? If not, what would be the most ideal way for his final match? I don't think it's happening. I've answered this question many times. I don't think Cena's turning heel. I think it's too late now. There's really no point. Cena's moving on to other projects. He's getting more involved in Hollywood. I think if it was going to be done, it should have been done in 2012. The storyline with Kane, Rise Above Hate, and then Cena could have lost to Lesnar and then just went on a losing streak. Lost to The Rock, lost to Lesnar, and just snapped. That was the opportunity to do it, and WWE missed the opportunity, I think. As far as his final match, that's hard to say because he could conceivably wrestle for another 5 years, maybe. Perhaps even more than that. So who knows? We have no idea who is going to be the next big star in WWE. It could be anybody in 5 years. It might be Roman, but I think WWE should do Cena and Roman fairly soon. So as far as the last match goes, I really don't know. I mean, ideally, whoever the top guy is in 5 years should face Cena, and Cena passes the torch to that guy. This one comes from MJ. Don't you think the roster is as strong as it was in 2000, but we won't realize it now? They've got some good feuds. Oh, the roster now is great. Arguably the best roster WWE has ever had, next to that 2000-2001 period. I mean, 2000, when the Radicals came in, that really elevated the talent pool in WWE. And then in 2001, when WWE picked up the WCW guys and the ECW guys, you had the best roster on the planet in the history of mainstream wrestling, in my opinion, when you had the best of WWE, WCW, and ECW all on one show. So that 2001 roster, I mean, I still think that's the biggest talent roster WWE's ever had. But right now, I mean, in-ring, WWE as a product is arguably the best it's ever been. I mean, that's not what fans are complaining about. The wrestling is great for the most part. The problem is the characters are not very compelling, the storylines are not very well thought out, and the shows tend to be boring more times than not. You need more than just good wrestling to have a good wrestling show. It's as funny as that sounds, it's because it is sports entertainment, and like I've said before, it's about the whole package. It's like a rock show. You gotta have the interesting characters, you gotta have the pyro, the lighting, yes, the pyro, you gotta have everything, the music. It's gotta have that larger-than-life rock concert atmosphere to it. And, you know, this is definitely a strong roster, but because creatively it's not so great, yeah, people tend to look at this period as a negative, even though the wrestling is really solid. This one comes from Dave Lesnar. In the current era, besides Cena, Orton, Batista, and Brock, have they actually created any real big stars in WWE? This is a great question, a very valid question, and that's been one of the problems. WWE has not been able to make the next really big star. They're trying with Roman Reigns, and some would argue Roman Reigns is there, and he's only going to get bigger as the years go on because of the reactions he gets when people react to him when he comes out. They all stand up, whether they're cheering or booing. People are making noise. Roman Reigns gets the superstar reaction. I was almost going to say stupid star reaction. Regarding anybody else, I mean, maybe CM Punk. I mean, I would say CM Punk, even though he's not at that mainstream level of star power that even somebody like Batista has. But CM Punk made a huge impact in WWE, in my opinion. We're still talking about him, and he quit over 3 years ago. He left his mark in WWE. So CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, I think if Daniel Bryan had not had to retire, he could have gone on to have a really lengthy career in WWE. He was so over. He still is when he comes out there. Everyone does the yes chant. Everyone loves the guy. You know, he's just somebody who can naturally get behind. So Punk and Bryan would have to be the closest examples. And of course, Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose are also up there right at the top of guys. But Ambrose and even Rollins, I think, just haven't been able to really reach the pinnacle for whatever reason. This one comes from Certified G. Why does the WWE keep bringing back old talent but they can't use their current roster properly? Again, it's because WWE doesn't have the creative team that can come up with compelling enough storylines and really develop these characters to make them larger than life. And at the same time, WWE doesn't really have a guy who really has that charisma and presence. You have a few guys like that, like Enzo, but unfortunately, Enzo doesn't have the right look. Plus, politically, he doesn't seem to be making the right moves right now. So that's a problem. When WWE cannot have that guy, they got to look to the outside, and that's why they bring in Brock Lesnar and pay him the big bucks, because they can rely on him to generate the mainstream headlines and get more casual viewers watching the show. I mean, that's the bottom line. Until WWE can make that next big superstar, they're going to keep relying on past stars to come in and draw in new fans into the product. That'll wrap it up for episode number 995 of NoDQ Video, August 16th, episode number 1000. Please keep spreading the word as we get closer. We're just over a week away, and I will see you guys next time.